Welcome to today's video, where we're diving into the timeless wisdom of Sun Tzu's Art of War. Specifically, we'll explore Chapter 8, Variation in Tactics, and uncover how its strategic lessons apply to modern-day business, diplomacy, and geopolitics. Sun Tzu, a legendary military strategist from ancient China, wrote this masterpiece over 2,500 years ago. Yet, its principles remain incredibly relevant. Chapter 8 emphasizes adaptability, strategic thinking, and the mindset of a leader, qualities essential for navigating today's complex world. Over the next 10 minutes, we'll break down 6 key lessons from this chapter, showing how they play out in business, diplomacy, and geopolitics with real-world examples. Whether you're running a company, negotiating deals, or just curious about strategy, stick around for insights that could transform your approach. Let's get started. Friends, quick tip. To really absorb this video's lessons into your deep memory and turn them into action, watch the video at least 3 times. Repetition is key, and with more practice, you'll build the tools and strategies you need to succeed in your career, business, and development context. Let's start with the first lesson. Adaptability is paramount. In Art of War, Sun Tzu stresses that success on the battlefield depends on a commander's ability to adapt to changing circumstances, like terrain, enemy actions, weather, morale, and supplies. Sticking rigidly to a plan is a recipe for failure because the battlefield is dynamic. A commander must pivot quickly to secure victory efficiently. In today's fast-paced business world, adaptability is critical. Companies that fail to respond to market trends, technological disruptions, or competitive pressures risk obsolescence. Success comes from fostering innovation, making quick decisions, and using data to anticipate shifts, whether it's changing consumer preferences or supply chain challenges. Example: Netflix is a prime case. Originally a DVD rental service, Netflix saw the rise of digital streaming and pivoted its entire business model. This adaptability made it a global entertainment leader. In diplomacy, adaptability means navigating complex political landscapes. Diplomats adjust strategies based on cultural, economic, and political context, sometimes shifting from hardline stances to compromise or using soft power to build trust. Example: the Paris Agreement of 2015 allowed each nation to set tailored climate commitments, adapting to their unique economic and environmental context to secure global participation. Nations must adapt to global power shifts, economic trends, and emerging threats by reallocating resources or forming new alliances. Example: the U.S. pivot to Asia under President Obama shifted focus from the Middle East to counter China's growing influence, strengthening alliances in the Asia-Pacific. Adaptability, whether in business, diplomacy, or geopolitics, is about staying agile in a changing world. Next up, Lesson 2. Know when not to fight, avoid predictability. Sun Tzu advises against fighting battles where the odds are stacked against you, like attacking an enemy on high ground or falling for a feigned retreat. Strategic restraint and avoiding predictable moves are key to preventing costly mistakes. Business application. In business, this means avoiding direct competition with dominant rivals or engaging in profit-draining price wars. Instead, focus on differentiation, niche markets, or strategic partnerships. Unpredictability, like using deception to mislead competitors, keeps you ahead. Example: in the late 2000s, Apple skipped the low-margin netbook market and launched the iPad, creating a new, high-value category that disrupted the industry. Diplomacy application: diplomats avoid escalating conflicts when support or timing is lacking, opting for indirect methods like back-channel talks or economic incentives to maintain leverage. Example: during the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962, the US and USSR chose diplomacy over military escalation, showing restraint to avert nuclear war. Geopolitics application: nations exercise restraint in unfavorable conflicts, using sanctions or soft power instead of direct confrontation. Unpredictability keeps adversaries off balance. Example: China's Belt and Road Initiative expands global influence through economic investments rather than military conflict, embodying Sun Tzu's non-confrontational approach. Knowing when to step back and staying unpredictable can turn potential losses into strategic wins. Lesson 3. Strategic withdrawal is not defeat. Sun Tzu warns against cornering an enemy completely, as desperation can lead to fierce resistance. Leaving an escape route breaks their cohesion, offering long-term gains over short-term victories. Business application. Businesses may need to exit unprofitable markets or offer concessions to avoid resource-draining conflicts. This preserves long-term viability and allows focus on core strengths. Example: In 2010, Google withdrew from China's search market due to censorship concerns, preserving its values while maintaining other operations like Android. Diplomacy application. Diplomats offer adversaries face-saving exits to de-escalate tensions, using concessions or mediated agreements to foster cooperation. Example, the Sykes-Picot Agreement of 1916 divided Middle Eastern influence between Britain and France, avoiding conflict during World War I. Geopolitics application. Nations avoid pushing adversaries into desperate situations that could escalate unpredictably, especially with nuclear powers, by allowing negotiation paths. Example, the US avoids regime change in North Korea, using sanctions and diplomacy to reduce escalation risks. Strategic withdrawal is about playing the long game, not admitting defeat. Lesson 4. Understand the 9 variations. Sun Tzu's 9 variations refer to situations requiring non-standard responses. Commanders must tailor tactics to unique circumstances, relying on instinctive judgment and situational awareness. Business application. Businesses must customize strategies for different markets or customer segments. A one-size-fits-all approach fails in diverse global markets. Example, McDonald's adapts its menus to local tastes, offering vegetarian options in India and gourmet items in France. Diplomacy application. Each negotiation requires a tailored approach based on the parties and context, using tools like incentives or pressure as needed. Example, the Iran nuclear deal of 2015 balanced nuclear restrictions and sanctions relief to suit diverse interests. Geopolitics application. Geopolitical strategies must account for regional differences, historical rivalries, and cultural nuances. Example, the US uses mediation in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, but military support in Ukraine, reflecting varied regional dynamics. Tailoring your approach to the situation is a hallmark of strategic success. Lesson 5. The commander's mindset is critical. Sun Tzu emphasizes that a commander's flexibility, situational awareness, independent judgment, and pragmatism are vital for success. Leaders must abandon rigid plans and focus on efficient outcomes, not glory. Business application. Business leaders need vision, adaptability, and data-driven decisions to navigate competitive markets, assessing trends and capabilities to stay ahead. Example, Steve Jobs' return to Apple in 1997 revitalized the company with innovative products like the iPhone, driven by strategic vision. Diplomacy application. Diplomats require foresight, cultural awareness, and realism to make tough decisions under pressure, balancing idealism with practical goals. Example, Henry Kissinger's 1972 outreach to China reshaped global alliances through bold, pragmatic diplomacy. Geopolitics application. Geopolitical leaders need a deep understanding of global dynamics to make pragmatic decisions, even amid uncertainty or opposition. Example, Winston Churchill's Wu leadership combined foresight and pragmatism to rally the Allies against Nazi Germany. A leader's mindset can make or break their strategy. Finally, Lesson 6, the Perils of Inflexibility. Sun Tzu identifies 5 faults: recklessness, cowardice, hasty temper, vanity, and excessive compassion that stem from rigidity or emotional decisions, preventing adaptation. Business application. Inflexible businesses that cling to outdated strategies or make emotional decisions risk failure. Leaders must foster continuous improvement and openness to change. Example, Blockbuster's refusal to adopt streaming led to its 2010 bankruptcy as Netflix embraced digital trends. Diplomacy application. Rigid diplomacy driven by ideology or pride can stall negotiations or escalate conflicts. Flexibility is key to progress. Example, the League of Nations' rigid structure failed to address 1930s fascist threats, leading to its collapse. Geopolitics application. Inflexible policies can lead to prolonged conflicts or loss of influence, requiring adaptation to changing global dynamics. Example, the US-Vietnam War strategy, inflexible against guerrilla tactics, prolonged a costly conflict. Inflexibility is a trap that strategic leaders must avoid. As we've seen, the lessons from Sun Tzu's Art of War, Chapter 8, are incredibly versatile, offering guidance for business, diplomacy, and geopolitics. The core themes, adaptability, strategic restraint, and a pragmatic mindset, are essential for navigating today's complex, dynamic environments. However, applying these lessons requires nuance. Missteps, like over-relying on deception or underestimating adversaries, can lead to unintended consequences. By understanding and thoughtfully applying these principles, leaders can achieve long-term success. Whether you're navigating a career, business competition, diplomatic talks, or global shifts, Sun Tzu's ancient wisdom remains a powerful compass. Thank you for watching. If you found these insights valuable, please like, subscribe, and share this video. Let us know in the comments how you might apply Sun Tzu's strategies in your own life. Until next time, stay strategic.